Yo, welcome back to Wook Plus for the After Fish After Show. What's up, Kev? That was an awesome fucking show, I thought.
Yeah,
What'd you
that
think?
was. I loved it. I tell you what I think off the top is I'm gonna miss the island music intro to this show.
I was thinking the same thing. You want to keep it for the spring tour? It will make less sense, but I kind of like it.
Right. Yeah, maybe we have to fudge it somehow.
We'll have
But
to think
yes,
about it.
it was a really good show. Really good two set Sunday show, I thought.
Yeah, and I was like, I was questioning myself because I was halfway through. And I was like, is it noticeably different than last night? Because last night I wasn't super high. Is it anyone that tuned in? I wasn't very hyped about the show, and tonight I was very hyped about the show. And I think it's little things, right? I think it's very small differences that make a really average show and a really good show, right? And I think tonight some of the choices they made, some of the set list decisions and the execution really just brought in an extra, that gave it that little extra oomph.
Right.
So
Um
yeah,
with
why don't you start us off?
expectations in mind, I thought for sure we were gonna get a cool cover to open. But they came out with Sigma. It was strong. I feel like they're really over this run. The thing I feel like I'm that they're getting good with is a song like Sigma that they can do for 8 minutes and it has a really strong jam in it. There isn't
Yeah.
any wasted notes to it, so to speak.
Yeah, it was like you were saying yesterday with No Man's. It's the same idea. It was a very jam-packed, solid jam to start. Something with a strong foundation, a strong footing that they can set the night up on. And then
Yeah.
I don't want to jump too fast, but did you hear that maze tease at the beginning of Bowie?
And yesterday,
I'm,
we were
I'm
joking
just
yesterday
fucking.
that yes, that they were doing it the other way.
I
You know,
feel like
Bowie.
Fish did change it up slightly. His sticking on it, it sounded a little bit different than traditional.
I did think for a half second, wait, is that? Oh yeah, it is
Yeah.
one of those things. So Bowie is a skeleton of itself, but I will take a Bowie any day of the week, especially in the two spot.
Yeah. And I thought, I mean, it's certainly not the Bowies of old, right? But I thought this was a pretty clean, pretty strong outing. I mean, Trey
Right.
was really on fire with this, playing. I think he
I
was
w-
locked in.
I wouldn't know if they screw. I wouldn't know if Trey screwed up, except maybe at the end. But
Well,
the end part
because
is what I
everybody would
live
be
for.
melting on Twitter, like, oh, fucking
Missed the
Trey.
man. He missed the F sharp.
Right. Not
So
the F sharp. God.
anything but that. And then next we get the first piece of meat for the night, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing like last year's Wolfman's, but
No, but it was again another solid jam. I think, and it really kept the energy up and kept things moving. They got the San Jose. Who is it? You or T that's always looking for the San Jose tees? T,
I
I
think
guess.
yes, it's T.
Well, he
Yes,
got his
the
San Jose tees in there,
right,
which is
which
always
sounds
cool.
nothing like the song that I know. Is what kills me. It's some version that somebody does that Trey's playing off of, but the original version that I know is an old blues tune, and I just don't
Do you
make
think
the
that's
connection.
probably the most common tease now? I mean, it's. I feel like every
Right,
few shows he
probably.
teases it.
Yeah, I think so. But the lick, whatever the lick is, we need someone to come on and explain the lick at some point.
Yeah.
That seems to show up all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Wolfman's very good. They
Yeah.
ended it. I feel like you know, they got the ending right. It wasn't an abrupt drop into it, so I was satisfied. I'll take the
Yeah,
Wolfman.
and then I think the song choice and placement up through this and Tube was spectacular. Tube was, you know, a little short, right? And here's the thing. I feel like it started so strong and was one of the tighter, nicer tubes that I've heard in a while and had so much potential. And I guess the three songs leading into it just kind of got me really into the show. And I really wanted, I'm not saying like jammed out, like go nuts with it, but like get me to the 10-minute mark, or I would have been so happy.
Right.
But, as soon as I
Um
started to feel that they break it down into the swing, and I'm like, oh, it's over.
right. The Grandmaster wants to know what we all think about the singing in the higher register.
Yeah. So, well, I was gonna wait until we get to Julius to really
Okay.
dive into this,
All
but
right, let's
no, you
wait till we
want
get
to
to
wait?
Julius.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
wait for it.
I liked Caspian for the cool down song in the middle. I thought it was nice. It was a little short for me. I feel like Caspian, as much as it's denigrated by the community, I feel like it has some really potential for beautiful jams, textural kind of things, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a unique sound to the jams that come out of Caspian when they choose to do it. Tonight was not one of those nights, but I don't know if it was the camera work or if it was just what I latched onto, but out in the ocean, it was also because you could see, right? Because it was daylight for the set and you couldn't really tell the earlier nights. Seeing everybody do the big splashes in the water and everything, float upon the waves, and everybody like splashed up, and I was just like, man, that looks like fun. Like it's expensive, and like I don't really want to get into the whole is it worth it, can you afford it thing, because everybody has different means and whatever.
But
But
you wouldn't take your kids, huh?
well, no, it's funny. I was talking to my wife about that. I was like, hey, we could bring the girls. And then she just looked at me, and I guess Evie was being a little bit of a pain in the ass today. She's like, or we could give the kids to the grandparents and get away. I was like, yeah, there you go.
That's the answer.
I'd be happy either way.
Yes.
And so, all right, I got a confession time. This is a safe space, right?
Yes, it is. Just me and you.
Just me and you. No one else is watching. Nobody's paying attention. I kind of really dug Mull tonight, and I've been one of these people that was like, "Fuck Mull." I hate when Mike
last
sings.
night you went off on Mull. I think it was something
that
about
was or 2 nights ago.
Mike not writing songs in his register,
right? And maybe because now that
Trey's
Trey's not singing songs in his register, I become like,
numb to it. I think that I don't know. I think Mull should be a second set tune and be allowed to go 15 minutes plus. I think that it's that good that there's that much meat on the bone.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't mind the 8-minute version. Like it was cool. Mike did a good job with it. The band sounded good. And then I was like a little bit, it wasn't a ripcord, but like when Trey, you could tell he was like setting up to get out of it. He was hitting those long whole note chords, and I was like a little bit disappointed, but then they go into Ghost, and then instantly I'm like, all right, cool. Like, fuck Mull. We're in Ghost.
Maybe part of what Mike is doing, this just thought I had, is he's trying to challenge himself. That's why he writes in the weird register and has the strange keychains in the middle of the song and things like that.
Well, it might, yeah, it could be. And I mean, I don't know. We'll have to talk to people that are better musically than us. I always kind of figured it was to keep it interesting because he does lead bass in a lot of his songs, and he makes the bass lines the focal point. And I feel like you need to have separation, and have the vocals. Like if he was singing in like a bass tone with a lead bass part, it would get muddied and all mixed in, And I feel like by having a bass guitar heavy song, the vocals almost need to be, yeah, maybe.
That's fair. Fair enough. And you said right. You said Ghost, which was the 200th Ghost, is what people are reporting. Yeah. And it was good. It busted over 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought it was strange in the daylight. I thought it was a little weird in the daylight.
Yeah. I mean, it was starting to get sunsetty at that point, though, right?
I guess that's when they come out.
Right.
The ghosts, the freaks, all of them.
Yeah. But no, I mean, unless, listen, like the first set, well, all right, and then it finishes out with Coil, which I think is a beautiful way to end a set. This one in particular wasn't anything unique or really special, but in general, just it's a great song to end the set.
Perfect sunset song too. The sun was going back behind the building while Page was doing his outro.
Another beach song. I don't know if that was on the list or not.
No, it wasn't. It was because it didn't.
See, that's the thing. You don't think of all the beach songs. There's a ton of them.
I think we were going with only that mentioned ocean specifically was what the question was we had posed to ourselves.
Right. Because if you include beach and sand, there's like a whole nother shit ton of.
They could have done 4 nights worth of them.
For guys from Vermont, the band from Vermont, they spent a lot of their songs on the ocean.
Right. They sure do like. Well, I guess it's the whole Phish thing. It's brand.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's not what it is, actually.
It's a great metaphor.
Yes. It was a good set, too. And I think My hype, really, if I'm being honest, comes out of the second set. But the first set us up really well and was a nice transition. Why don't you take set break? You're good at that stuff.
Yes. If you're watching this later, make sure that you put a comment in there. We love to get back to people. If you're catching us live, you're in the chat there. Make sure you like, subscribe, you ring the bell, you get the notifications. We drop the micro doses randomly. Next week, we have Wook Plus Live, which with the game night coming up. That's Wednesday at 9:00, which is going to be interesting. I guess we can say we're going to be playing the match game and have a whole slew of guest ones. So that should be interesting. And beyond that, we're hopping into set 2.
Yeah, we are. So,
or you want to mention the bracket? Oh, mention the bracket. Throw that.
Oh yeah. Well, what is that? Friday. On Friday, I'll be releasing the, I think, 5th Phish bracket. It's almost complete, and it's going to be a shit ton of fun. And for those of you who haven't participated, I do it over on Twitter, and it's not a specific jam for this one. It is strictly song versus song, and I leave interpretation up to you because I don't want to be too gatekeepy. Some of you watching have seen 200 shows and have gone back to like 92 and can decipher, when Page uses his right hand differently or whatever. And other people are like, hey, I really like Tweezer, like you don't really get into it. And that's cool. And I just want to have a big communal discourse about different Phish songs. And it's a fun tradition we do. So check it out over on Twitter.
And
we'll probably mention
yes,
it again.
Remember the Tweezer, Yem, Ghost, and Hood are not part of it because they are the last 4 winners.
Right. So when I release it, don't at me saying, what the fuck? You forgot Tweezer. I didn't forget Tweezer.
But this year's odds-on favorite is Reba. If you don't want to see that happen. You know
who forgot Tweezer, by the way?
Yeah.
Phish
forgot Tweezer. First time for a 4-night run with no Tweezer, huh?
Yeah. I want to say, though, I feel like song expectations in general are not all created equally. I think in general, it's having expectations going into a show is a bad idea because you set yourself up for failure. But for me, I feel there's a difference between going in with the expectations of, oh, it's going to be a raging night or it's going to be a spacey jam night versus setlist expectations. Because I think, and the reason I think setlist expectations are a little, no offense to whoever has them, a little dumb, is because you could have a phenomenal show on off songs, right? And that they just execute perfectly and jam. But if you're just caught up like, oh, I didn't get a tweezer, right? So
you're waiting the whole time instead of listening to what they're playing. You're thinking about, right?
I would rather have that jam out of Everything's Right than a tweezer that sucks and then being off. You know what I mean?
Right. My when I used to go see the Dead years and years ago when I was young, that was my problem. I'd walk in and be like, I want a Scarlet Fire tonight. And if they didn't do it, it kind of, put me off of the experience in the moment. I had to really fight myself on that. No, I don't care. Somebody, people were giving me a hard time because I was like, you expect a tweezer on a 4-night run. And I was like, not really.
Yeah, right. No, I think what cured me of that too was the Bakers, and like anyone that did the Bakers, that was a big like moment of like you kind of didn't chase or have to chase much after you did that, right? And then it could just enjoy whatever the fuck they were playing. And I get it. Like if you're chasing something, like that's one thing, but I don't know. I think setlist expectations are dangerous. Anyway, this second
Possum's a great opener.
Great opener. It seemed like it started a tiny bit slow, but really locked in after a little bit and really got there. Just fire Possum. I usually don't get distracted by comments, but I saw Radiator, so I was like, I have to read this. Yeah. All right. You want to
talk it was
about
compact.
Julius?
I mean, right. I was going to say Possum is what it is. It does what it's supposed to do. It gets you hyped. And I think it did its job tonight. Julius, I loved.
Setup.
Right.
Yeah. What did you think about the vocals?
You know what? I really didn't notice.
Okay. You sound like me.
I don't. Well, I was singing along, so all I heard was.
We all know you hit your pitch every time. Yeah, I mean, listen. I think Julius raged after they got out of, the singing part of it. It's a really fun dance your ass off song. But I don't know, man. Trey was he's hunting for those octaves again and like
Do you think it's just him
reaching
getting older?
what yeah, I don't know though. I think it's when he hits it and like there's like an isolated line in the middle that he hits it, it sounds good, but he's not hitting it all. And I feel like he's taking his vocal lessons still or singing in the shower with a fresh voice. And he's like, that sounds good. Like, and it probably does legit sounds good. And he's like, I'm going to try to recreate that on stage. I want to keep it fresh. I want to reimagine these songs. But then when you're, huffing and puffing and wailing on stage and you just sang for 3 or 4 days and you don't have it, I feel like he's missing. So I think it's like a good intent. And it probably, if he hit it, would be great. He's just not hitting it. And then he's also a little trigger shy about it too, right? Like he's not coming out. Maybe that's like a timidness because I don't know if he has the confidence with it, but like he's not coming out and just smacking it. He's like, he starts low and then, and it's like, all right, man, I don't know.
He's trying to figure it out. But how much have we watched them over the year, listened, if, you're younger, them go through the bluegrass phase, and try to play those songs. And sometimes they murdered them, and the acapella, sometimes that was a little off, but they just, you trusted them to work through it, I guess.
Yeah, so and I do too. And I mean, Trey's never been a great singer. I mean, I don't think any Phish fan is going to be like, oh, you know what I love about Phish? Trey's
vocals.
His vocals are what got me into this.
Oh man,
well, yes, and it was Moon Age Daydream and like the Halloween Bowie covers. I thought he did a great singing. Anyway, that's not what we're here
for me.
About.
For me, his vocals "When You Enjoy Myself" is what really got me into the band.
Boy, man, God, shit. Yes. So what a yam though. Honestly, this yam tonight was just so cool. The interplay and like the cool shit they were doing at the top, the wipeout effect coming back in a huge way. Yeah, they fucking crushed it.
Do you think that the trampolines will disappear at some point?
I mean, like if they're still doing this in 20 years, then like get to like Bobby's age or a little more, then yeah, probably. Although fucking Bobby would be rocking on a trampoline. You see him do those workout videos. No, I don't know, man. I think they're gonna, as long as Phish is doing it, they're gonna have the trampolines.
Have you ever seen the video of Phil in '99? And they brought out a trampoline, and he was on stage with them doing the trampoline. Almost killed himself getting off the thing. Oh man!
Oh god! You know what I like too about this yam? Trey or Phish has 2 snares, and he doesn't always bring them into jams, but he was playing with the 2 different snares and really using that instrumentation a lot in this jam and going back and forth and these triplets. And I thought that this is where Fishmen like John woke up, right? And from yam on out, he was just completely on fire. And like he played well earlier in the night, but I felt like it was the yam jam that he was like, oh shit, like, we're playing. I'm gonna just kill it, and I think he was really the MVP of that end of that show.
The vocal jam.
Oh wait! One other thing. Did you hear the Speed Racer tease?
That's what I hear they did. I did not hear it. No.
I was one of those like, wait, is it? No. And then I go back and yeah.
Kind of like the drip field tease.
Huh. I don't know, man. Are we going to talk about that?
No, we aren't going to talk about that. So there was no jam out of the vocal jam, right?
No, it was vocals and out.
So they dropped that this time, which I was loving last year.
I did too, but it was. I think part of it's because the vocal jam was silly in a good way, but like we're like, it sounds like a Squidward, like a octopus type thing. It's hard to come back into that. If you remember, like the vocal jams that they came back in with the jams last year, they kind of kept the groove going, with the beatboxing and shit, and then they slowly build the jam back into it. When you're just making the gobbles and everything, it's kind of like, what do you do? Like it's hard to come back into it.
Right.
But yeah, it's cool.
It's every song so far, and we'll note this because it's going to be the whole way through the set. They did separate. They stopped in between every song. There was no arrows.
Right.
Like everything right, which we're going to talk about next. Then stop, simple, stop. But everything's right. probably for me was the best jam of the evening. I don't know. I'm fighting with Simple, but the Simple was so much shorter. But again, it's the song for me. I don't know. I
You
guess
don't
it's
like the
better than
song?
Soul Planet. I don't want to be told everything's right because it isn't. And I just
Right.
feel it's disingenuous when I hear in my head when I'm, when he's telling me that, I'm like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm sitting on my couch and like in the middle of, about to go to work tomorrow and stuff, I'm with you, but I always try to remember what it's like when I'm, on the lawn or in the sand or in the stands and you're there with your buds listening to Phish. And like in that moment, no matter how fucked up life is and no matter what shit's going on, I try to find that inner peace of like in this exact moment, everything is exactly where I want it to be. So in that sense, I'm okay with it. But I get what you're saying. It is kind of like preachy, like you don't know if everything's right. Like
That's
everything's
why
pretty fucked up.
I like Wave of Hope because he doesn't tell me everything's right. He says this too shall pass. So it's on me
Yeah, that sounds
as
like a you
opposed to
problem.
it does. It's very much a me problem. But what'd you think of the jam? I thought, it didn't break any new ground, but it was solid.
Yeah, it was definitely solid. And you know what was cool? It kind of climaxed before they did the reentry. It had that spaciness where it slowly builds up. And it's one of those things where you don't even know, you're not really like locked into anything. You don't even know where it's going. And then before you know it, it's already on a trajectory. You know what I mean? Like the trajectory of the climax builds up so subtly that all of a sudden you catch it. And by the time you catch on, they're already locked in on that path. And I felt like that's a little bit common with Phish, which is not that it's like a negative thing or a bad thing. But they haven't done that a lot this run, and so this was a really good traditional jam. I thought the reentry was a little rough, mostly because of the singing, right? Like he came in and he was all, you know.
Right.
Um,
They
but
need
the
to spend
nanas and everything is fun. I mean, I'm not gonna be a hater. Like I like it. It's fine.
they need to spend an hour or two in the rehearsal space just doing the end.
The reentry.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just nail it because I think if they did, it would add so much to it. I mean, the album, that's the best thing on Sigma Oasis, I feel like, is that cut.
You know
You
Paul,
know?
the guy I jam with, like the guitar player. That's like his line. He always says, "It doesn't matter what the fuck you do in the jam. You start well and you end well, and then everything else is gravy." Like that is literally 80% of a song is the first few notes and the last few notes.
Right.
And that was kind of a weak, like, oh, I guess we're over. Let me just do a little, cymbal roll and strum and like, it wasn't like a tight ending,
Right,
but still a
exactly.
great jam.
You know,
And then the simple dude.
it might be my favorite thing of the night just because I love that Simple falls apart.
I love Simple so much. Shout out to Llama. I'm sorry you didn't get your llama tonight, and I'm sorry you got a Simple, but I gotta
Instead,
say, dude, I fucking love Simple so much. It's probably I don't know I can't say it's my favorite, but it is one of like the top 10 things that Phish does that I love. It is so much fun. And tonight was great. It was short. It was a micro Simple, but it was a fun ass Simple. But then, we got number lines and boo.
you know, but again, they stopped. And Trey, we've talked about before. Part of the reason you get numberlined is the beginning of the song is happy, happy. It's right into the
Right, the like
vocal,
drone on the guitar
right?
note and it feels
And
like a
then
ripcord.
right last year they did open to show with it, and he did the little guitar strum part, which he did tonight. He played a couple bars of whatever it is before he jumped into the vocal. I wish they could build a little bit of a more intro one to it, and it may stop the abruptness that you hear.
Yeah, or do what they did tonight and finish the song before and then start it, you
Right.
know. So I will admit that I saw way too many number lines because I had gotten in, seen a lot of shows in 09 and 10 and everything. And like, I felt every show I saw, I got number lines. So I'm a little maybe overly harsh on it. I know a lot of people like
Right.
it, but I did want to shout out to Andy Michaels. If you guys aren't familiar, he's a DJ over on Jump Radio. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Andy. It's a
We
great
love you,
show.
Andy. Can
Yeah,
we can I do another shout out? to
Yeah.
Guy Forget Ghost. He's at
Yeah.
Guy Forget Ghost over on Twitter. Man does the set list for every show. He's our go-to guy when we want to know timing, so you should probably be following him.
Yeah, he's great. And he's in Mexico right now and still does it. He's
And still
fucking
does it. Timing's everything. I mean, he just makes my life easy. God
he
bless him.
really does. It's kind of better than Phish from the Road, right? Because he has their
Yeah.
time right on it.
Right. And he puts the whole set into one tweet.
Right. It's super
So
easy.
you don't have to do 9 tweets or
We
whatever.
look so prepared on this show, but really it's just him.
We're just looking at Twitter.
I would like to give a shout out to Funky Wish because she asked me to, and why not? Anyone else want to shout out?
Funky Witch will be joining us Wednesday night at 9 o'clock on Live.
On Wednesday night. Man,
so
that's gonna be a fun episode.
Thank you, GM. All right, so we got the Susie Llama's first Susie. Always makes me think of our boy T. He has a special relationship with Susie, and
and I think it's a fun way to end a show. It's fire. I mean, it's fun. It
is what it is. It exists,
right? I feel like we have to come up with something to say for every song. And sometimes it's like, hey, that was a good version of that song. I don't know what else to tell you.
Susie is a great bar song, I think.
Okay,
if you saw a band do it in a bar, it's one of those, you've had a couple drinks, everyone's dancing. I think it loses something trying to be the big arena rock number to close the set.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, I don't know, because I think about the what was it, Petrichor New Year's? Petrichor New Year's?
Yeah.
And largely that New Year's was kind of lame, in my personal opinion.
It didn't rank very high.
I thought the Susie, though, to end that show or right out of the New Year's was huge. Like, it just was super epic. And it just, ever since that, I feel like it has a big, and then also, what was it? The Indio Festival 8 with the singers and stuff. Like, there's been some pretty big, I think it all depends which Susies you've seen.
Right. Right. The horns were great.
I
saw I saw one at the Bayou in '91 with the horns.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we have to talk about the horns sometimes. I have thoughts about that thing.
We could do a microdose now that we got another break.
Right, we'll have to do a microdose. All right, so then we got an encore. Like, subscribe, and everybody on Twitter. Have they ever done a tweezer encore? I'm like, give up the ghost. We aren't getting the tweezer this time, and I thought a song that I liked better than tweezer, McGrupp. It's the original,
You can't complain about a McGrupp encore, honestly. I mean, you could, but you really shouldn't. Like, you should just stop
and say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And also, that was pretty well executed, right? I get a little bit nervous sometimes when they go into some of the more intricate Gamehenge songs, and just because I love them, but they don't have a perfect track record as of late. But I thought tonight it was pretty well done.
Those songs aren't to be jammed. They're to be played the way they're written, like a composed piece. So you do kind of put some more weight onto, did they nail the instrumentation or the instrumental part of it?
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%, because they are fully composed, fully arranged. And and everybody knows it. So, and then you get a Waste, which is the winner of the most romantic Phish song bracket, and a beautiful song.
It's right much. We didn't get a Life Beyond a Dream or a More or a Miss You or Beneath. No Ghost of the Forest songs except About to Run. Interesting set list choices there, but Waste, yes, it's beautiful. It's deservedly won that bracket.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue it not being the most romantic
with all
Phish
those
song.
people. Yeah, with all the people singing it. Come waste your time with me. You're in Mexico. What more could you ask for? Peeing in the ocean,
Yeah, floating in the pee.
Floating in the pee. And then they did
fast.
Then they did the Slave to the Traffic Light.
And that is a great way to end an epic run. And I think that I don't know. Overall, 4 nights. Mexico, I give it a soft A. I don't think it was an A+, but I'm very hyped for this year. I think this
Right.
bodes well for the spring tour and the summer tour, and I think we're gonna get some really good Phish this year.
Right.
What do you think? You're
I thought the
feel good about
at
this run?
first, yeah, first night was the best for me. Tonight was the second best, and then I guess it would go Friday, Saturday would be the one I was most disappointed in. Oh, Ruby
Yeah.
Waves, yes, Essie. That's right, they did do the Ruby Waves. So,
Yeah.
like, subscribe. We love you. We'll see you Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all
And-
summer.
and we're out of here. Later, guys.